to our partner batteries after your local battery experts. 23 after 7 now. The Reserve Bank has raised the official cash rate by 0.5%, a move which generally sees banks follow suit with a hike in their own mortgage interest rates. So if you're thinking about borrowing, what should you be considering right now? To discuss, I'm joined by mortgage broker Jamie Sanderson. Jamie, good morning.
Morning, Ryan. How are you?
Good, thank you. It's been a long time since we've been in a rate climb, isn't it? What do people generally do? Do they start to think about longer term, or do they take the short-term options?
Yeah, it's been the first time probably a lot of people have even been in a rising rate environment. So it's probably about 6 or so years since, if you bought a house in that time, that you've never had to face into this. So that's a good conversation that we've been having recently, because a lot of people have been really used to just kind of fixing for the best rate, and that's typically been over the shorter term. And the one thing now is that the best rate might not be the best thing for you. And so more so than ever, it's probably best to have a conversation with an advisor who actually goes and looks at, it's not just about which rate to choose, but also your circumstances, your goals, what you've got coming up in the future as well.
Yeah, because you've got to start, and I know you can't give any specific advice to us about our own situations, but you do have to start thinking about how much can I afford to tack on every week to my mortgage payments right now.
Yeah, you really do, because I was looking at a case yesterday for a client, and they've got a home loan that's about 548,000, and they're coming off a rate of like 2.29%, going up to what's now 5.25%, and that's going to be an extra 940 per month for outgoings for them. So 11,000 a year, which is going to play a huge factor, and there's a lot of other costs that people are having to tackle right now as well. So yeah, I think a lot of people need to sit down and actually do some budgeting. One thing that we see a lot is that people don't really understand what they've got going out of their bank account on a monthly basis. You know, how much are you spending on groceries? How much are you spending at the pub on a Friday? And just starting to try and factor that in a bit more with this extra month that you're going to have.
If you're trying to get a mortgage, you're going through a mortgage broker to get one. Traditionally, we hear the banks test at about 6 or 7% interest rate to see whether you can still repay at that rate. As the interest rates increase, do they increase also the rate they test at?
The testing rates will increase over time, and there's sometimes a bit of a catch up with that. But I think that's really important to note that over the last couple of years, when the rates have been so low, the banks have been testing a lot higher. So they're comfortable that, one, if the rates did increase, that you're comfortable with the repayments, and two, that you still got enough to cover your monthly living expenses as well.
The CCCF law, or what I term the Uber Eats law, where they trawl through your bank statements to find examples of extravagant spending, is that still hurting people? Because the government did say they were going to try and fix it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still there for the moment. There has been a draft come out of changes, and it is something that we face on a daily basis when we're looking at people's living expenses. I mean, everyone doesn't kind of live to get a mortgage in 3 months' time, and the last few months have been really difficult because it's been Christmas and holidays.
True.
So it's been a bit more challenging for some. It's not something you can kind of undo.
No, so the banks are thinking, well, look, you spend all that money on Christmas presents. Is that a regular thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, Christmas, I guess, is a regular thing.
Holidays. Well, it's that every year, though, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's
holidays, and it probably looks a little extravagant than it otherwise would.
Yeah.
We're going to leave it there, but I guess the summary is think more about the long term if you can afford to, and obviously an eye to your weekly budget too.
Absolutely.
Jamie, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Great to have you. That's Jamie and co-mortgage broker Jamie Sanderson. It's 27 minutes after 7 o'clock now. We welcome your feedback on the show, feedback@amshow.co.nz. Coming up, we're discussing the orange light settings and Easter trading.